though, when it comes to the aurora borealis. In fact, some of these solar storms can actually disrupt and even damage technology on Earth. The Carrington event happened in the year 1859, stands as the strongest observed solar storm in modern human history. Now, that caused a lot of problems. It's back when we had the telegraph, but we almost had one in 2012. Earth narrowly missed that one. So if or when it happens, a solar storm that impacts the globe could become a $2 trillion disaster, because it is a magnetic energy that comes through with these storms, and that's where we could have problems. If it were to occur, might take a decade for us to recover. Some of the destruction of communication infrastructure could bring about the end of the internet. You heard me right. This idea was actually explored by a UC Irvine student. She researched the potential in her paper entitled Solar Superstorms, Planning for an Internet Apocalypse. One of the greatest dangers facing the internet with the potential for global impact is a powerful solar superstorm. Well, the federal government has actually assigned a team of scientists at George Mason University $13 million to study this potential internet apocalypse and keep us away or help us prepare for dealing with some sort of solar storm that could cause this. Let's bring in the principal investigator for the project, Professor Peter Becker is at George Mason University. Peter, solar storms causing the internet apocalypse. That sounds like a worst case scenario. What does it look like?
Yeah, well, as you pointed out, it's been in the news a lot lately. There have been articles all over the place, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. But yeah, the idea is there have been a lot of flares. Flares are when the sun brightens and we see the radiation. And that's kind of the muzzle flash. And then the cannon shot is the coronal mass ejection, as you mentioned. So we can see the flash, but then the coronal mass ejection can go off in some random direction in space. But we can tell when they're actually going to head towards Earth. And that gives us about 18 hours of warning, maybe 24 hours of warning before those particles actually get to Earth and start messing around with Earth's magnetic field. So, yeah, you mentioned the Carrington event in 1859. There was actually also a big flare in Halloween of 2003. And so the Carrington event actually was a coronal mass ejection that did reach Earth, and it totally wiped out the telegraph system. So the telegraph system was their internet of the day. And sparks were literally flying off the telegraph lines, and there's even rumors that some operators might have even been electrocuted. It was total mayhem, and the system went down for a matter of weeks. And of course, a telegraph system infrastructure is very robust compared to the modern internet with all our little cables and fibers and things. So an event like that occurring now is something the internet is not built to handle. So we're talking not just the electrical grid, but huge economic consequences, especially because of the global wired economy now. So yeah, if it happened now, if the Carrington event happened right now, we're talking $10 to $20 billion per day of damage to the U.S. economy alone, and possibly weeks to months to repair the infrastructure, because you're talking about all those little electronics closets and all the office buildings basically getting fried and hardware having to be replaced.
It's not just...
Now, here we go, my people. Now, the Carrington event was a result of what? A coronal mass ejection, CMEs. And when I be telling y'all go outside to get them CMEs, the sun has never been more active in their history. Coronal mass ejections are consistently coming off the sun and blasting the entire solar system. Now, let's start with this, right, people? Now, the solar system is made of quadrillions, trillions, children's, quadrillions, and you can add even more quadrillions of atoms in the universe. Now, atoms are composed of protons, neutrons, and electrons. What is the largest atom in the solar system? The sun. Now, the sun produces energy that bonds with other atoms, and atom bonds with other atoms and molecules and start to form what you call gases, liquid, and then something solid, us. So now my people, so-called black people, possess, or not necessarily possess, what we truly are, neuromelanin. We are condensed sunlight. We produce atom. Our bodies are made of trillions and trillions and trillions of atoms. So when I say you must have the blood of the sun and the consciousness, the awareness of the entire solar system, neurons, matches each star inside the Milky Way galaxy plus more. And neurons holds abundance of information. So when I tell you, my brothers and sisters, that the sun is active and every living organism on the planet is actually mutating. What are you mutating into? What are you mutating into? UVA, UVB has increased exponentially. This is up in the north where the sun is now technically in the south. UVC radiation is now on the ground. It is a detoxifier, a germ killer, a mutating wavelength. It is altering and changing the atom molecule that is the smallest building unit of the cell. So if the atom is changing, the cell is changing. If the cell is changing, then the organ is changing. And this is what all their scientists and all of them are afraid of. This is why they're trying to go underground, and that's not safe because that's getting shut down. This is what's taking place. This was on the New York Post. This was on Time Magazine. They spoke about this. And now it's coming to mainstream news. Why? Because the sun is even more active. The ozone layer is thin. And they are all going to there's this dark shadow government that they are setting everything up to be so they can welcome in the eukaryotic cell, the creator of the eukaryotic cell, Pindar, Moloch, the Dragon King, Dracula, the Prince of Darkness, all that shit that's connected to that fake royal family and that moon. They want total chaos on the planet. This event that's going to take place is going to bring total darkness to the entirety of the planet. There will be no rebuild of this world. Because you're not going to be able to do it. Lack of food, lack of resources for some people. People going to be panicking because it's going to be pitch black dark. The ozone layer is going to be removed, and then you're going to start to see more light is going to come into your eye, and you're going to see that which was hidden from you. I told you this. Now everyone is trying to get on top of this because you know why? It's pointless to talk about what went on yesterday. Slavery, the police brutality. These people were designed to be brutal to you. You were designed not to follow them, not to be a follower. Abundance and gratitude to all.